Hello CraftDee family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So CraftDee. For today's DIY projects, I've selected 10 of my easy Valentine's DIYs that'll get you inspired to create. Now these feature a variety of styles from neutral to glam, and it's broken into chapters so you can choose the project that you're most excited about creating. Now to get you all started, I did include the full supply list in the description box below. Now to all of my amazing subscribers and visitors, I wanted to say hey, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you definitely should, so you can be the first to see hundreds of fresh and original craft ideas on my channel. So let's dive in and get started. Project is a wood heart with beaded trim and a little greenery. Now for this project, we'll need one of these wood hearts from the Dollar Tree, some jute twine from the Dollar Tree, some of this Farmhouse striped ribbon, and I got this from the Dollar Tree, a bundle of Boxwood greenery that was 97 cents from Walmart, some of these carved hearts from the Dollar Tree, and we'll need some wood beads, and I picked these up at Amazon. So the first thing we're going to do is to lay out our protecting supplies, and we are going to be staining our heart, and you could stain it with Jacobian Minwax stain or some diluted acrylic paint. Now in order to stain the piece, I'm just going to apply one nice coat of that stain on the front of my heart and also on the sides of the heart. And once it's all covered, you want to sit it to the side to dry. So now we're going to grab our beads and our jute twine, and we're going to make our accessory. So I'm just going to grab one of those little carved hearts out of the package and take out some of those beads. So I'm going to cut a really long piece of that jute twine to start working with, and I like to put a little dab of hot glue on the very end just to keep it nice and together so I can start stringing my beads on. Now when I start stringing these beads on, I'm going to start out with adding 16 beads to my string. Now once you have your beads on there, you want to leave 2 or 3 inches on the edges, and you want to cut that string down. So then go ahead and separate them into 2 even sides, and you want to mark the center with a marker. Now take an additional small piece of that jute string, and you want to tie a knot around the center mark that you just made. Then cut off the tail, and then you want to add a little bit of security by adding a dab of hot glue right on that knot. So for one bead, you want to take the opening and you want to open it up a little wider, so when you slide it on your string, that knot will be nestled right inside of it and you can't see it when you bead on the remainder of your beads. So you just want to pull the knot right inside there, and then when it's in there, go ahead and secure it in place with hot glue. And then I'm just going to add on another 4 beads for a total of 5 beads on this piece. So now I'm going to add my little carved heart on the side, and I'm just going to run that piece of jute twine through that top hole of that heart, and I'm going to attach it in a double knot close to that string of 5 beads. And then once everything looks good, go ahead and snip off the tail of that string and add a little hot glue for a little added security. So now that that's ready, we can go ahead and grab our stained heart now that it's dry. And I'm just going to kind of situate it on the front however I would like it to look. And I ended up adding, or actually taking away one of the beads on the top. So I actually am going to be using 14 beads. Now once it looks pretty good, I'm just going to put one little dab of hot glue around the back, securing the stringed beads right on the back, making any adjustments as I go. Now with that little dot, if everything looks good with that, you can just flip it back over, and I'm just going to add a long string of hot glue on there and secure the remainder of that string. And then trim down those strings if needed. Now as an accent, I'm going to add some pieces of this boxwood. So I'm going to snip off 2 branches of the boxwood, and I'm going to trim them down to fit the front. So I'm just going to bend them to where they kind of curve along the bottom, and I'm going to place them right at the bottom where the tails just cross. And then to apply them, I'm just going to add a strip of hot glue, and I'm going to press one of those branches on each side of that carved heart. Now, after looking at this, I really rather have my heart a little higher, but I like the way it sits here, so that's okay. So now I would use probably 3 beads instead of 5. So as a final touch, I'm taking some of that Farmhouse striped ribbon and I'm just going to tie it into a little bow, and I'm going to put it right at the bottom, covering up those stems of that boxwood. And then I'm going to trim that ribbon down to fit. Now, if some of those branches stick out, you can just snip those off. And there you have it. So of course, I'm going to finish the back of my piece. So I'm going to take a piece of this craft paper and I'm going to start to apply glue around the top half of my heart, and I'm going to press it right on top. And then I want to flip it over and add remaining glue along the bottom of the heart. So once it's fully adhered, I'm just going to break out my cutting mat and my X-Acto knife, and I'm going to carefully trim around that heart, making the ends nice and even. And now you can see that the back is nicely covered. Now to hang my piece, I'm just going to take some of this jute twine with knotted ends, and I'm going to apply a dab of hot glue on the back and press those knotted ends into place. Now to cover up those raw ends, I'm going to take a scrap piece of that craft paper. I'm going to add a bead of glue right over the ends of that string and cover it up. And I just think this looks so nice and neat. And here is your piece on display. Oh my goodness, I think it's so adorable. Now I think the contrast between the stained wood and the natural wood really looks great, and it really fits into that natural theme. And then when you add the boxwood and it all ties everything together, it really looks so nice. You have to let me know what you think of this project. Now the next project will be decorative jars with wood heart accents. Now for this project we'll need 2 mason jars. We'll need 2 of some solid carved hearts, and we'll need some of wildflowers of your choice and some of that farmhouse ribbon. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the lids of our mason jars, and we are going to be painting these. So I'm going to be using some of my chalk paint, and I'm going to be adding this with a paintbrush. So all you want to do is you want to add your chalk paint to this. You want to make sure you get into all the nooks and crannies first, and then you want to go in one solid stroke from the top to the bottom to eliminate any streaks in your jars. And then you want to repeat this for your other jar. So now that both jars are covered, you want them to completely dry. Now once they are dry, we want to protect that finish, so I'm going to use some of this matte Mod Podge that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. And you're going to apply this the same way. You just want to go in straight up and down strokes to make sure it's a nice even coat around both of the jars. And then you want to make sure you sit them both to the side to dry. So while those are drying, we are going to be staining the solid hearts from our set. So I'm going to be using that same Jacobian stain by Minwax, and I'm going to stain the front and the back of the solid hearts. Now once those are dry, we can start to make our heart picks. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to wrap the solid hearts with some jute twine. So I'm just going to hot glue it into place. And then you just randomly wrap that jute twine all around the heart in a random pattern until you're happy with it, and then snip it off and hot glue it into place. Now once both hearts are covered, this is what they'll look like. So now to add the height to my hearts, I'm just going to be using some of these 10-inch dowels that I got from the Dollar Tree. And to attach them, I'm going to attach them to the solid hearts first. And I'm just going to nestle that dowel right in between those strings and then apply hot glue along the back side to secure them into place. And here's what they'll look like on the dowels. Now for the carved hearts, I'm just going to add a dot of hot glue at the very bottom. I'm going to make sure that that is nice and secure first. And then what I'm going to do is go back and add some hot glue right over the top of that dowel onto the heart. And this kind of adds a little brace so it stays nice and secure to the rod. So now our jars are completely dry and we can start to decorate. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those wildflowers I have and some of that farmhouse ribbon. So I'm going to measure out a piece where I can tie a bow around the threads of my jar. And then I'm just going to tie it really nice and tight into a really pretty bow. So once both bows are tied, go ahead and grab some of those wildflowers, and I'm just going to fold up that bottom stem so it fits in the jars. You can certainly cut it off, but I like to fold it up just in case I want to repurpose these into another project. So once those are in the jar, I'm going to take our hearts on a stem and I'm just going to cut them to size. And I'm going to cut the ones with the wrapped twine a little shorter than the ones with the carved hearts because I wanted varying heights for texture and appeal when I add them to the jars. So then I'm just going to nestle those into those wildflowers and make sure that they are showing from the front. Now once both jars are added, I wanted to add another accent to the jars. It just seemed a little plain to me. So I took some of the dark wood grain contact paper from the Dollar Tree and I cut some 1.5 strips from it. So what I'm going to end up doing is I want to wrap that strip around the center of each jar. So you just want to carefully measure to the center and make sure it is applied nice and smooth. Just trim off any excess edge, put that ribbon back down there, and there you go. Now I did want my greenery to be a little fuller, so I did add an additional boxwood along with the wildflowers, and I think this added that last final perfect touch where my bundle is nice and full. And here are both bundles complete. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, I really love how these turned out. Now I love the textured hearts on these. It really does give it a nice look and appeal. And the little strip just give it that touch of modern that we're going for. Now you can choose to use greenery, you could use flowers, you can even change up the ribbon. You could just make it your own. I just think that these are so adorable and they'll fit into your decor year round. So to start off the project, you will need this heart-shaped wreath form and a piece of foam board. So go down and place your protective mat and lay down your foam board. Then you want to place your heart form on top and grab a pencil, and we want to trace the heart's outside and inside dimensions onto that foam board. Now take your X-Acto knife and we want to carefully cut out the heart shapes on the lines that you just traced on there. Now if you have any jagged cuts, just smooth those out with a nail file. So now we want to go ahead and cover our wreath in some burlap ribbon. You want to just cut off a generous length, and once you get that cut, you can go ahead and you want to start wrapping that ribbon around the heart at an angle using hot glue on the back to secure it as you go. And here it is, all covered. So now I'll be adding some pink camellias that were 97 cents from Walmart and some white wildflowers from the Dollar Tree. Go ahead and take those wildflowers, cut off those long stems, and then we want to attach these together using a piece of floral wire. Then you want to take your hot glue, apply a generous amount to the center, and add it to the top corner of the heart. And repeat it at the bottom corner of the heart as well. So now I'm going to take my camellias and I want to remove the flowers from the stem. Apply a generous amount of that hot glue to the bottom of 3 of the camellias and apply to the center of each wildflower bundle. So now what we want to do is add a bow. So I'm going to use this Dollar Tree wired ribbon. So for this, I'm just going to wrap the ribbon around to form 3 loop layers on each side. And then I'm just going to go ahead and repeat this for a second bundle that's about 2 inches shorter. Now we're going to go ahead and stack the two together, and I want to cut a notch out of the middle of each side. Then you just take a piece of twine or floral wire and secure it in the middle. Then take a short piece of that ribbon and you want to cover up that tie. And then we just fluff out our bow. Now I wanted to add some tails as well, so I cut 2 short pieces and hot glued them to the back of the bow. Then we attach that to the wreath when we're done. Now as a final touch, I will be using this wood love sign from the Dollar General. I took it outside and what I did was apply a coat of this Krylon Brilliant Gold spray paint. Now once it was dry, I hot glued it to the wreath and then you are done. Then I added a simple jute twine loop to hang this, and here is the final result. I love how this turned out. I think these camellias are so beautiful paired with those Dollar Tree wildflowers. And this painted love sign really brings the look together. So simple, yet so elegant. And the addition of this nice fluffy burlap and lace bow really adds to that rustic country feel, and it makes it so sweet. Now this project is a set of wood planter sconces. Now we're going to be starting off with 2 of these wood hanging boxes from the Dollar Tree Valentine's section. So we're going to grab up the boxes, and the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove the hang string. We don't want any stain to get on that, so we're going to go ahead and remove that and put that to the side. And you could go ahead and remove the tags on the back as well. Now we'll be staining these with some Waverly Antique Wax, but you can definitely use traditional stain if you like. Now I'm going to apply my wax with a paintbrush. I'm just going to put a nice even coat on there and then follow up with a paper towel to remove all of the excess on the inside. Now once the inside is done, I'm going to add more wax to the outside, and I want to make sure when I apply it to the outside, I want to make sure I go around the lettering. It's okay if you get some on top, but we won't be staining the lettering, we will be painting it. So I'm just going to carefully go around that lettering with my antique wax. And then once that's done, just follow up with a paper towel to wipe off all of that excess as well. Now we're going to repeat this for our second box. So here are both of my boxes with all of the antique wax on the front of them. Now that they're dry, we are going to paint. So I'm going to be using some black acrylic paint to paint on my lettering on the front of my boxes. Now you can choose any color that you like, but I wanted to paint mine black because I will be highlighting it later. So I'm taking a fine tipped paintbrush that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to paint the top of all of the lettering on the front of each one of my boxes. So here's my lettering all painted, and allow this to completely dry. And now that it's dry, I'm going to take my acrylic marker and I'm going to outline the lettering. Now the Dollar Tree has their version of this as well. I got these from Amazon and I will link them in the description box below. But I'm just going to take that marker and I'm going to outline all of my lettering all the way around so it'll stand out and can be seen. Now we're going to do this for both of the boxes, and here is what they'll look like when that lettering is all outlined. Now once that is nice and dry, what we can do is go ahead and reapply our jute twine and we can tie that back on. You can also choose to use ribbon or whatever kind of hanger that you choose to use on the top of your boxes. Now to decorate these, I'm going to be using some of these roses from the Dollar Tree and some of this boxwood that I got from Walmart for 97 cents a bunch. Now I'm just going to clip it apart and put a couple pieces in each one of those boxes, and I'm going to take one rose in the center and 2 roses, one on each side, to put 3 roses in each one of these boxes for a nice sweet Valentine's arrangement. And here are both of the boxes with the roses. I think they turned out super cute, and now you can hang those up. And here they are, all hanging up on display, and I think they're adorable. Now by adding the roses and the greenery, it really gives that sweet Valentine's vibe I was going for, and the colors look so great with the stained wood. Now you can even switch up the greenery and the florals to display these year-round. Now let me know what you think of this project in the comments below. I really hope that you all are enjoying these crafts so far, but I wanted to pop in really quick and let you all know that you could follow me on all of these platforms as CraftDee. So now let's jump right into that next DIY. The next project is a triple heart wall art piece. So we're going to start off with this Easter sign, or you can use any sign that you have on hand. Again, I'm going to be using some of that Boxwood greenery I got from Walmart. We'll be using some of that ribbon as well, and this 3 heart decoration piece from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to start by separating all the 3 hearts, and you could just simply do this with scissors. And then you're going to remove any hooks, loops, and retail signs. Now these hearts are plastic with little garland wrapped around it on little hooks, so I'm just going to unwind the garland from the hearts. It's really easy. And here are all the hearts without that garland on there. So for my project, I won't be leaving on the little hooks, so I'm simply going to snip these off with a pair of wire clippers. So once I snip off the little hooks, this is what it would look like. Now I also wanted to remove those braces along the side. I only want to leave the brace at the top and the bottom, so I want to carefully snip out those braces. And here is what it would look like with everything removed, and we want to repeat this for the remainder of the hearts. So here are all 3 of my hearts ready to go. So I want to paint my hearts, so I'm just going to lay out my paper and grab my chalk paint. Now you can use chalk paint or spray paint for this, and it's all up to you, but when I apply my chalk paint, I just like to dab it on to make sure I cover the entire surface. And here is what one of the hearts will look like, and just repeat these for the other 2 hearts. Now while that dries, I'm going to go ahead and take my sign, remove any embellishments on there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be covering this. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Easter printed side of it, and I'll keep the back side plain so it's nice and clean. So I'm taking some of that contact paper again, and I want to cut out a piece that would cover the entire front. And once you have your piece that'll fit, just peel it off and you want to apply it onto the sign. Now, what I should have done is maybe sanded down the areas where I peeled off the feet and the little ribbon, because it did leave some texture showing through the paper, but it still worked out. But just a word to the wise, you might want to sand it down before you add it on your project. So I'm just going to use my hand to smooth it out until it's nice and smooth and it's fully covered on the front. Now once the front is fully covered, you just want to flip in the edges on the back and press those into place. And once the top and bottom are done, just go ahead and fold in those sides as well. And here is the board completely covered. Now, if you want to add some hooks to the back, you can add some picture hooks or whatever you like. Or you can add the jute twine hooks as well. Now, mine will be hanging on little hooks, so I won't be adding anything to the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab my hearts now that they're dry, and I am going to place them evenly on the front of my piece. Now to apply these, I'm going to put hot glue on the outer rings of the hearts, the most inner rings of the hearts, and the top and the bottom. I'm going to repeat this for the other heart on the other side and also the one in the center. And here they all nice and secure. So now I want to take some more of that Boxwood greenery, and this time I'm going to pick off those bundles from the stem. Now I'm going to be using 2 bundles on each one of the hearts, and I'm just going to stick them in right at the bottom. Now once they're in place the way you like them, go ahead and secure them in with hot glue, and you can trim off any stems that stick out the bottom. Now to finish these off, all we're going to do is we are going to put some of these little bows on there that I tied with some more of that farmhouse ribbon. Now I'm going to place one in the center bottom of each one of the hearts. You just want to apply a generous amount of hot glue and place one at the bottom. And here is the piece all complete. And here we have it. It is on display. I love it. I think it's too cute. Now I really love the very minimal look of these. It's clean, it's fresh, and it looks really great. I'll be using this Love You More sign from the Dollar Tree. You want to start by removing that burlap layer from the felt by peeling it away. And then you want to remove those felt hearts as well. Now if you have bits of glue and felt left on there, a good trick is to take the tip of your hot glue gun just to warm it up, and it'll peel right off. Now you just want to cut your sign into 3 sections separating the words. So now you want to trim all your words down because you want to make sure that they'll fit into your frame. All right, set those aside. So now what we're going to do is we're going to paint some wood hearts that come in this 5-pack from the Dollar Tree. So in order to get that deep burgundy color, I'm going to take this crimson red and this black, and I'll be mixing this together. So then all you do is paint both hearts, and you want to let them sit to dry. Now I'll grab my photo frame. So I'm going to remove the back and that paper sheet and all the fillers. You just want to make sure you keep that 3 photo insert out to work on. Now I have this small piece of checkered fabric that I'll be using to cover this insert. So you want to take your hot glue gun and you want to apply hot glue all the way around that insert. And then just press it down on the fabric. So now what we're going to do is trim and cut that edge of the fabric around the insert. And then glue it up in place. We're going to repeat this all the way around. Now for the windows, just cut a little slit in each window. And then what you're going to do is cut an X in the middle. This will create some flaps, and all you have to do is fold those flaps back and glue them into place after they've trimmed. And here's what it will look like. And you just repeat this for the other two windows. So now we just want to grab our Love You More words, and we're going to align them inside those windows and then secure them in place with hot glue. Alright, now we're going to reassemble our frame. So we can put that into the frame face down. Insert that white sheet and then put the back on. Then we just put those tabs back in place very carefully. And it looks perfect. So now I'm going to grab those painted hearts and we're going to add those to our frame. Now I'll also add these corrugated hearts that I took from another Dollar Tree sign. I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue the corrugated hearts to the wood hearts. Alright, so now that we figured out our placement, we're going to go ahead and take our hot glue and we're going to add the hearts to the frame. Then we're going to go ahead and flip it over, and what we're going to do is add a piece of this nautical rope so we can hang it. We're just going to add some hot glue down the side of the frame and then press the rope into place. And while we're back there, we'll go ahead and add a little hot glue to the back of those hearts as well. So now I'm going to take a scrap piece of fabric or a ribbon, and you want to tie a bow to go on top of that rope. just going to go ahead and secure that bow in place with a bit of hot glue. Now I decided at the last minute I wanted to add a few of those pine cone flowers to the frame. So what I did is I cut and removed those stems. And then I applied hot glue to the frame and attached each one by a heart. And this is now done. And here is the completed project, you guys. I tell you, upgrading that Love You More sign from the Dollar Tree really makes a huge difference, and it looks so awesome, and I love how it turned out. We'll be using the heart wreath form and one of the skeins of this fluffy red heart fur that I actually picked up from the Dollar Tree. I will also be adding these lights to the wreath, so I'll be using this strand of clear battery operated lights. So you just want to take your lights and run them around the form one time, equally spacing them and taping them into place. And here they are, all taped in place. So now we can start adding our fur. You're going to start by just tying it to the wreath and just wrapping it around until the entire wreath is covered. And here it is, all covered. I almost used the entire skein. So now I'm going to add this metal Valentine word that I purchased from Dollar Tree in a 3-pack. Now to attach this, I'm cutting a piece of floral wire. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut and bend it into a U shape. And then I'm going to feed it through the letter to the back, twisting it in place, making sure to get one of those rings of the wreath. And then I'm going to do this in 2 places to secure it. And finally, I'm going to take this silver ribbon and I'm going to make a bow just like I did before, and I'm going to attach it as well with the floral wire. And once attached, switch on those lights and enjoy this creation. Isn't this so cute? And here we have it. I have hung this up on my door and it looks so adorable. The rosy color of the fur with the silver accents looks so glam, and I just loved how it turned out. I think the simplicity of these embellishments is so great, since I did not want to take away from the very main feature. And that feature would be these lights. I just love that adding the lights really makes this wreath so special. You could even put a mirror in the middle as well. This project is a Valentine's love sign. We're going to need this wood-covered MDF love sign from the Dollar Tree. And we're also going to need some of these foam roses from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to take my love sign, go ahead and remove the tags, and we are going to end up painting this sign. Now I'm going to be painting it with my black acrylic paint. Now before I paint it, I am going to go ahead and remove the hang string. You can definitely keep yours on if you plan to hang it, but I decided I wanted mine to be a shelf sitter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start applying that black acrylic paint, and what I like to do is go ahead and paint the outsides and insides of all of the letters first on my piece. And here's that done on all of that. You can get all the cracks and crevices first, and then once that's done, you can go ahead and apply one nice coat to the surface. I love this apple barrel black acrylic paint. It's really thick and it only requires one nice coat. And here's the surface of my sign, all nice and painted, and you want to allow it to completely dry. Now here it is, all nice and dry. So now we can add any kind of decoration to the sign. Now again, I am going to take my acrylic paint pen, and what I wanted to do is to go around my entire sign. I wanted to put little ticking or stitch marks around it. I think that adding this accent just really amps it up a little bit more. You can definitely do a solid line, but I like the ticking mark for my particular project, but please do whatever your heart desires. So here's my entire sign with the ticking marks on the outline and the heart, but I also wanted to define that letter V and divide that L as well. So I'm going to go back in with my paint marker and I'm going to outline the entire letter V so this doesn't look like just one continuous piece. And then I'm going to put that little partition next to the L as well. So now here it is. It looks like individual letters all bonded together. So once that's done, I'm going to grab those little foam roses and I'm going to take about 3 out of the package. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these inside of the little heart cutout, but I'm not going to glue them to the sign. I want to just glue the roses together because I want them to be removable. So I'm going to go ahead and take one of the roses out and I'm going to bond it side by side with one of the roses. That'll be the top of the heart, and then that third rose I'm going to nestle at the bottom of those two and just stick that in there as well, and just it'll kind of conform to the shape of that heart. Now the roses do kind of expand a little, so they'll hold themselves in place without actually hot gluing them, and you can see those roses do stick together and you could just tuck them right back in, and then there you go, it'll be a removable option. So now to decorate this sign and how I want to display, I'm going to use these 3 boxes that I made last Christmas for my little miniature trees. I am just going to repurpose these. So I'm going to sit these all side by side so it looks like a solid base. Now I love repurposing things. I will link this at the upper right hand corner of this video to give you instructions for these boxes, but you definitely can rebuild a box that'll fit your sign the way you prefer. So now I'm also going to take some of this boxwood that I got for 97 cents from Walmart, and I just glued it all together in a couple of stems, and I'm going to put that at the top of the boxes. And then as an option, you can add some additional foam roses in there to give it a little bit more decoration. It is all up to you. And there you have it. How simple is this cute little sign? Now I love this sign as a shelf or a table display, and it looks great with those stained wood block boxes, greenery, and the rose accents. Now it's just these little touches that make these so super sweet, and it's a great way to create a beautiful display. Now this is definitely great for Valentine's, but you can also decorate it for any occasion. Now here is the sign without the roses for a neutral farmhouse type of look. Now I can see this being displayed in any space of your home all year long. Or you can also add flowers if you like too. Now there's so many ways to decorate it. You all have to let me know, how would you choose to decorate this for your home? The next project are two-tone love sign with stand. So we're going to start off with this wood love sign from the Dollar Tree. We're also going to use some of this contact paper from the Dollar Tree. And we're also going to use these tumbling blocks this time and more of those wood beads. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that love sign and we're going to go ahead and remove the retail tags from it, and we're going to leave that string on for now. So I'm going to cover the entire sign with this white chalk paint, and I like to start on the outside edge first. It just seems so much easier to get into all those cracks and crevices first. Now once all the insides and outsides are done, I'm going to cover the entire front with white chalk paint. And then you want to let it completely dry. So once it is dry, we're going to grab that contact paper, and what I want to do is cut a piece that would at least cover half the sign a long ways. So I'm just going to lay it right on top and then cut a piece out of that contact paper. So then I'm going to take that contact paper. I do want to make sure it has a perfect straight edge. So I'm just going to lay it down with my metal ruler and my X-Acto knife and cut a nice straight edge. And once it looks good, go ahead and peel the backing off, and you want to apply it right along the center of that love sign and then press it into place. Now, if everything looks good, go ahead and flip it over, and then you can take your X-Acto knife and trim off all of that excess. Now, once the outside edges are done, I like to flip it over to do the other side so I can get the insides of all the loops and letters, and then just hand smooth it all into place. So now we're going to work on our stand for our love sign, and I'm just going to grab my carpenter square, which is available at that Dollar Tree as well, and I'm going to separate about 21 of those blocks. Now, what I want to do with the blocks is I want to glue them together in sets of 3. So now all 7 3-piece sets are done, and we're going to adhere these all together, and this will form the base of our stand. So you want to make sure you're using a straight edge when you adhere these together so you'll have a nice straight piece. So now I'm going to be using some of these craft sticks from the Dollar Tree to add a little bit of reinforcement to my seams at the bottom. So I'm just going to take 4 of those craft sticks and add them along the bottom, along the seams, and you want to make sure the sticks are touching all of the blocks. This will add a little bit of reinforcement and keep your stand nice and sturdy. And so now that our stand is all together and dry, we want to add little feet. So I'm going to take 5 of those 16mm beads that I have, and I want to apply them to the bottom of the piece. So what I want to do is I'm going to apply a generous amount of that hot glue to one of the open beaded ends and then press it into the corner of our piece. Now you want to add it to all 4 corners and 1 in the center. So now I wanted to paint my piece, so again I'm going to use some of my chalk paint, and I'm going to apply 1 generous coat to the stand. I want to start at the bottom first. Make sure you cover those beads as well, and then when that's done, go ahead and flip it over and add it to the top and the sides of the stand. And here it is all dry, so we are ready to stage our stand. So I'm going to take that love sign, and we're going to end up sitting this right on top. So since we're sitting it on the stand, we won't be using that string. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off. So to accent it, I'm going to go ahead and grab the rest of that greenery. I'm just going to add 2 cuts of that greenery to the stand. Now you can add the greenery to the stand and put the love sign on top, or you can put it under, however you like. I just think that these colors all together looks so clean and fresh. And here is the little love sign on display. I think it's simply adorable. Now I love these colors together. I think the wood grain paired with the white looks so clean and modern, and it really looks great. And adding that pop of green really ties all of these pieces together, and this is definitely something you can keep out year round. This project is a Valentine's wood heart sign. We're going to need one of these wood palette style heart signs from the Dollar Tree. We're going to need 2 of these heart trinket boxes from the Dollar Tree. Some poster letters from the Dollar Tree. And also some foam roses from the Dollar Tree. Now we're going to start off with the hearts. We're going to go ahead and we're going to remove 2 of the hearts from the packaging. We want to open them up, divide them in half, remove any of the packaging, and we want to go ahead and clip off that little ring at the top center of each heart. You just want to carefully clip it off, and I'm using some very sharp miniature wire clippers to do this. Now once all those little rings are clipped off, what I'm going to do is clean them off really well, and then I'm going to take them outside and give them a couple of coats of this satin white spray paint on each one of the hearts. You know, you could definitely use chalk paint or acrylic paint if you like. Now while those dry, we're going to remove the hang string from our wood heart, and we are going to be staining this with our Waverly Antique Wax. You can use traditional stain too if you like. So again, I'm going to be applying this with my paintbrush. I'm going to apply one nice coat, and I am going to do this one section at a time. Now after you apply each section, you're just going to go in with your paper towel and remove all of that excess wax for a nice smooth finish. Now you're just going to repeat this process all the way down to the heart, making sure you get all of the pieces in between them as well. And here is your heart all nice and covered, and just go ahead and set it to the side to dry. All right, so now our hearts are nice and dry and we can start to decorate them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those poster letters, and I wanted my hearts to spell out love for Valentine's Day. So I'm going to put L-O-V-E on all of my hearts. Now this sticker is pretty strong against this spray paint. You can definitely put a coat of Mod Podge on top of the letters just to make sure that they're extra secure and even waterproof if you like. So I'm going to go ahead and change out my mat because now I'll be doing some hot gluing. So I'm taking 4 sprigs of boxwood and 4 of those foam roses for this decoration. So I'm going to start off by adding one of the roses at the top center of each heart. I'm just going to be using my hot glue, and then I'm going to press it in place and hold it until it's nice and bonded. Now you're going to repeat this for all 4 of your hearts, and now they have the little roses up top. Now as an accent for greenery, I'm going to place the boxwood behind the heart on the back of the rose, and to secure it I'm adding the hot glue to the back of the rose and then pressing that greenery in place. And you want that greenery just kind of to stick out the top just a bit. And here are all 4 of those done, and when I flipped them over I realized, wow, they look like strawberries, so that might be another project coming this year. So all I'm doing here is just trimming off that greenery on the underside and then adding another dab of hot glue on top of there so that greenery stays in place. So now what I'm going to add, I decided to add some jute twine. Now what I did is I took 6 strands and I just braided a long strand down. I had these already on hand. I decided to do this at the last minute, but if you decide to add this as a trim to your hearts, I would suggest you do it before you add your roses and your greenery. But when I craft, I just get creative as I go, and I decide and make changes to make it look like I want to. So I'm just going to go ahead and nestle that piece in. So I cut a piece that would fit around it, and I'm going to run hot glue around the edge of the heart and then place that braided jute twine all the way around. Now I used the jute twine from the Dollar Tree to do this, and it was really easy. So when you wrap your jute twine around, you want the edge of the jute twine to be lined up with the bottom edge of that little heart. And then once you get to the end, trim it down to fit where the end nestles up under that rose, and then apply that hot glue and press that end in place. And you kind of want to hold it since it's going around a curve so it doesn't pop back up, and you want to make sure that's nice and bonded. So here is what one of your jute twine hearts looks like, and you just want to repeat this for the remainder of your hearts. So now our stained palette heart is nice and done, so we are going to start to add our love hearts to the sign. Now how I wanted to apply these is I kind of wanted them to hang in kind of like a swag. You definitely can put them straight across, but I think that hanging them at an angle or applying them at an angle makes them just give it a little bit more character. So once you get your placement just right, you're just going to take your hot glue and you're going to add hot glue to the back where your greenery is and around the bottom of your heart, and then press it firmly onto the heart until it's nice and bonded. Now I like to do the first and the last letter first just to make sure that those angles match up on each side, and then once those 2 are done, I'll do the O and the V in the center. And here's everything nice and bonded in place. So now what we're going to go ahead and stick that jute twine back into the heart, so we'll have something to hang it by. You don't have to use the jute twine, you could definitely use ribbon or whatever you like. And then I'm going to add a couple of bows. Now I had a couple of these bows already on hand, and I'm just going to add some hot glue to the back. I'm going to glue one to the top and one to the bottom. And of course, if ribbon is not your thing, you can definitely add whatever you like, whether it be more greenery, roses, or whatever makes your heart happy. And check it out on display. Now, how cute is this little heart sign? Now, I think this is so perfect to hang on the door or on the wall as a part of your Valentine's decor. Now, I really had fun creating these easy projects today, and I hope that they've inspired you. Now, as always, I do love them all, but let me know in the comments which one of these super easy projects was your favorite today. Listen, I hope that you all enjoyed seeing these creations again, or for some of you, for the very first time. If you love DIYs on a budget, please give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following She's So CraftDee on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest for the latest news, sneak peeks, and giveaways. Now, also make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below, or just click on my She's So Crafty logo on your screen and hit that bell to be notified when the next DIY goes live. It doesn't cost a thing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.